Hello, it is I, IARESMART. And, yeah. So you may have seen the title and been a bit confused. You know, why is IARESMART making a video about EWOKS? You know, I do hate EWOKS. But we're going to be talking about the EWOK movies. If you're confused, don't worry. I'm going to explain everything. It's not going to make sense after I explain it, but I'm still going to explain it anyway. So, yeah. Basically, what's going on here? After the Star Wars original trilogy, after George Lucas was done with Episode 6, he was like, okay, I want to make a prequel trilogy. But before that, I'm going to make these two movies that are about Ewoks and nothing else. And everyone was like, George, that's a bad idea. Actually, no. That didn't happen because he ended up going through with it anyway, and then these movies got made. So I'm going to talk to you about them because I just watched them. They're on Disney+. It's the craziest thing. They're in the Star Wars Vintage Collection. It's a thing. I was bored the other day, and I was like, oh yeah, this is a thing they added a couple months ago. And I was like, well, I got 3 hours to kill. I may as well watch these Ewok movies. It was a bad decision. I could have done anything else, but I watched these Ewoks movies. So you don't have to, okay? I'm going to tell you about them. You may have heard about these before, but if you haven't, oh boy, you're in for a treat. So these movies are bad. You know, you complain about the sequels. You know, you think the sequels are the worst Star Wars movies. Everyone complains about how they're the worst Star Wars movies ever gotten. That's impossible. They cannot be the worst piece of Star Wars movies we've ever gotten, because these movies exist. Like, these are not really canon, but also kind of canon. Like, parts of them are canon, but just the thing as a whole is kind of in a weird gray area. Maybe it's canon, maybe it isn't, but it's on Disney+, so I don't know. But to be fair, also the 2003 Clone Wars is in the Vintage Collection, so maybe it isn't canon, I don't know. But anyway, we'll get into that. It's just, you know, you probably heard of, you know, what year was it? The Clone Wars movie. Before they made the series, which, you know, went on to be pretty good, they made this movie, and it was supposed to be a made-for-TV movie, but they released it in theaters. And, you know, it's Dave Filoni, he still made it and everything, but that movie sucked, and is very bad. I don't know, you guys have probably seen it. But yeah, that movie is just not very well received, but it's still enjoyable. It's still decent. And then, you know, we take a step further. We go even further back to 1974, I think, is when it was. And yeah, we have the holiday special. You probably have heard about this, because everyone talks about it every year. But if you haven't, it's bad. I think I might have to make another video. I made a video on it years ago, but it's kind of bad. So, the video is just a poor, you know, I could make a better edited video now. It's one of my older ones, but still, that is a awful experience. It's probably worse than these movies, let's be honest. Because, yeah, at least these movies are somewhat concise. But yeah, then there's just these forgotten movies called the Ewok movies. And you have Caravan of Courage and EWOKS, The Battle for Endor. Those are our two movies. They are very bad. They're very, like, they have a coherent story to an extent. So that's nice, unlike the holiday special. So, at least there's something going on. But George Lucas was the executive producer on these. He didn't direct them, but he was still the executive producer. He came up with, like, all of these ideas. I don't know about all of them, but, like, a lot of these ideas were just like, hey, what if the Ewoks spoke English? Yeah, we're going to get into that. So anyway, I've gone on with the intro long enough. Let's just get right into the first one. Caravan of Courage. This movie sucks. I mean, obviously, yeah, both these movies suck, but this one sucks just the tiniest bit more. Because the other one, which I'll get to, Battle for Endor, is like the tiniest bit enjoyable because there's some stuff in it I like. I can pick out the tiniest little thread of something, like a couple little things in the second one where I'm like, okay, that was somewhat enjoyable, but still, it's just overwhelming garbage. And the first one is just that, but there is nothing of value here. So what do we got? We have Sindel and Mace, these two kids, and they're a big old family because their mom and dad got captured by a giant in the first, like, minute of the movie. And then we meet our two characters who are children, and they're now lost in the woods. And they're very annoying. So anyway, they just, you know, barge in and, you know, to this Ewok house, and they're like, hey, these tiny woodland creatures live here. And Sindel's like, they want to be our friends. And the Mace is like, okay, but I don't care. We need to go find mom and dad. This kid's awful. I hate Mace with a burning passion. Also, yeah, his name is Mace. Like, and this was before the prequels. This was before Mace Windu. So, yeah, I guess George ended up reusing the name later. So, yeah. Also, he has a Luke Skywalker haircut, and he's just terrible at acting. His monotone voice, every scene he's in. Literally, I'm going to play a clip here, because I just can't describe how bad his acting is. You need to see it for yourself.
That's Dad! Where is that?
What
It looks like a monster or something real big. Where is it?
If we don't help them, they're gonna die.
Yeah, that's bad. Just like, well, that's a monster. It's really big. Where that's Mom and Dad. Where are they? Like, holy crud. That's bad acting. Say what you will about the sequels, but at least they have incredible actors and actresses. Obviously, Daisy Ridley, But like, say what you will about the sequels, at least the acting isn't that bad. Like, it's got something, a thread that the sequels can hang on to. It's got really good acting. But anyway, you got stuff like that in this movie, which makes Mace just the worst. So we're not even going to talk about it. But anyway, so Sindel is like our main character who becomes friends with Wicket, the Ewok, who later met Leia and helped with the Battle of Endor. So I don't really know when these stories happen. They either happen before Return of the Jedi or after. I think before, but then there's some stuff that makes me think it's after, because as we'll get to later, Sindel just starts to teach Wicket English, which he never spoke in Return of the Jedi, which makes me think it's after. But also, like, I looked something up online and it said this happens before Return of the Jedi, so I don't know. To be fair, the Caravan of Courage came out in 1984, like right after Return of the Jedi, and then the Ewoks Battle for Endor came out the year later in 1985. And these were made-for-TV movies, if I'm not mistaken. They didn't go into theaters. It was just a TV special, and somebody was at home and suffered through this back in the 80s. Some kids were like, oh cool, a Star Wars movie and it's on TV? Wow! And then they watch it. They watch an hour and 36 minutes of pain, and they're like, wow, that wasn't worth it. So yeah, I'm sure somebody has a fond memory of this movie, but I doubt it. So anyway, it's just, why? I'm trying to think of anything else that happened in the first one. It's bad. It's very bad. There was a whole thing where, like, they're given magic. Like, magic is just a thing. It's not the Force. The Ewoks just have magic. Like, there's just this Ewok elder wizard dude who's just like, alright, I'm gonna give you each an item, and it's gonna randomly help you at some point in the journey. Like, for example, the Mace kid touches this lake, and then he gets trapped under the surface of the water, and is literally doing, like, the mime thing, where he's like, I'm trapped in an invisible box, but he actually just can't get out of the water. And anytime they touch the water, like, if they, like, put a stick into it, that stick also just gets teleported under the water. Because, yeah. So anyway, then Wicket has just been given this random stick by the wizard dude, and the wizard dude was like, here, take this stick, it'll help you on your journey at some point. And then he just sticks in the water and pulls him out, because it's a magic stick. And then Mace is given this rock, and he's like, this is just a stupid rock, and throws it away. Wicket picks it up, and at the end of the journey, it ends up, like, somehow opening the door for them. I can't remember exactly, but whatever. Also, interesting thing, in the Battlefront, in Star Wars Battlefront, the newer games, in Star Wars Battlefront 1, there was this map. I don't remember what the name of it was. It was like Burning Endor or something. Anyway, it was an Endor map, and there was this cave section, right? And they also reused this map for Ewok Hunt in Battlefront 2, but there's like a bunch of spider webs, and there's a huge cage and everything, and all this stuff. You may remember if you played that game. That's a direct reference to this movie. Because at the end of the movie, they're in a cave of this giant who has, like, the parents trapped in this cage. There's a bunch of spider webs and giant spiders they have to fight through. It's insane. So that's what makes you think this is maybe canon. Also, also in Ewok Hunt, right? You know the Wisties? That little bag that the Ewoks throw at you and give you PTSD? Yeah, they're awful. And they come from this movie. There are little fairies that dance around. It comes from this movie. That's where that came from. That's where the developers got the idea for that. That blows my mind. That such an obscure thing made it into Battlefront, but whatever. That's just cool. So, yeah, that's all I really have to say about Caravan of Courage. Let's move on to Battle for Endor. Because, yeah, it's slightly better, but that's about it. Let me see, I had some notes here that I took while I was watching the movie. Just want to make sure I didn't miss anything. Because, yeah, the first one, it was bad. Thing I forgot to mention. The dad in these movies, Sindel's dad, is the guy from, it's the vice principal from Breakfast Club. If you've seen that movie, I mean, he's probably in other stuff too, but that's just what I noticed. I'm like, hey, he's from Breakfast Club. I've seen that movie. That's that guy. That's the vice principal. That was a jerk. So yeah, random fun fact for you. There you go. But yeah, the first one, it's bad. It's not even like so bad it's good. It's just bad, and it's bad. And the only enjoyment you get is pointing out the couple times where it's like, bad acting, and then it's not funny anymore. So yeah. Battle for Endor. I have a lot to say on this one, because a lot of weird stuff happens. So first off, Wicket just speaks English now. It's broken English, but he can just speak English, because I guess Sindel taught him English? Yeah?
Think you'll leave soon? I guess so. The Star Cruiser's almost fixed. We're gonna have to say goodbye. Goodbye?
It's creepy. It's creepy. I already hate Ewoks, but now they speak English? This is awful for me. And it also makes me wonder, like, I guess this had to happen after the Battle of Endor? Because, like, in Return of the Jedi, we saw that Wicket didn't speak English. And so, I don't know. It's very weird. I don't like it at all. So next up, Wilford Brimley. You know, the diabetes guy?
Diabetes.
Yeah, he's in this movie. I mean, he's in a bunch of other stuff too, but mainly we know him from diabetes and diabetes testing supplies, the infamous commercial. So yeah, he's in this movie, and he's good. Like, he's actually does a pretty good job acting, and, you know, does his best with this really weird movie he's in, and just does a good job. His characterization is pretty fun, because he's like, oh, you know, there's this Wicket and Sindel, and they don't have anywhere else to go, so I don't want to take him in. No, I don't. It's, you know, I'll just, like, leave this bed up, but I don't want him to come in, and he like doesn't want them to stay with him, but he really does, and it's just fun. I kind of like it, which is weird, because especially after the first movie, I was not expecting to like anything in this movie. And yeah, the weird thing is that 10 minutes in this movie, actually not even 10 minutes, just half the Ewoks are slaughtered, and Sindel's entire family dies. Like, just straight up. And she's just so chill about it. She's just like, and she just goes up to her dad and is like, Mace and Mommy are dead.
Are you alright, sweetheart?
Mm-hmm. Mommy, Mace, they're dead.
And they die off screen. We literally just see, like, you know, the mom gets shot, and then Mace tries to, like, drag her into a house, and that house just blows up. Like, huh? And Sindel just watches this. So she definitely has, like, some sort of PTSD. Then she goes and finds her dad, and, you know, and they're slowly getting surrounded by all these enemies, who we don't know why they're attacking the Ewoks, or where they even came from. We have, like, next to no, actually we do, but it's a dumb reason. I'll get to it later. So, they just, you know, kill all the Ewoks and Sindel's family. And then Sindel finds her dad, and she's like, oh yeah, Mom and Mace are dead. And then the dad's like, oh, okay. Anyway, I'm gonna die, so I need you to go away. And then she runs away, and then the dad dies. And, oh yeah, so there's a crow lady. There is a lady who has a magical ring that makes her turn into a crow. What were these people on? What were they on when they made this movie? Was it spice or was it death sticks? Or was it both? It was probably just a mix of both. Let's be honest here. Because holy crud, where did they get this stuff? Where did they get the idea to have a magical crow lady? This is like a parody of Star Wars. This isn't even like Star Wars stuff anymore. This is just a parody. Like, oh yeah, there was magic in Star Wars, right? Yeah. Let's just have a lady with like a ring or something. She turns into a crow, and yeah. So whatever, she's serving like the leader of these raider dudes who wants power. Like, but he thinks like by taking this battery that was in the crashed spaceship, it'll make him powerful. And so he keeps saying like, hey, you know the secret to unlock this power, so unlock it. So it'll make me powerful. Like, he doesn't know that it's just a battery. And everyone else is like, how do we tell him that this is just a battery? And then he dies at the end. In the weirdest way possible. Because, you know that ring I mentioned? Yeah. So he just has that around his neck now for some reason. I don't know, whatever. He took it from the crow lady. And then Wicket throws a rock, or even just a pebble, like throws a rock at the thing, which then just breaks it, I guess, and then he turns into stone. He literally Medusas. He turns into stone. I just was dumbfounded watching this movie. Like, that's how they defeat the main villain? Like, what? What happened? Why does the ring all of a sudden turn him into stone? I mean, I guess I can kind of get it if they like trick him and, you know, make him like stuck as a crow forever or something. I don't know. Like, at least that would make some semblance of sense. But he turns into stone? There's just a ton of stuff that happens in the movie, and I don't get, like, Sindel's got to be like messed up after this. She just goes off to live with Wilford Brimley because he just becomes her dad in this movie. They actually have a pretty wholesome moment where Wilford Brimley explains loss to her and like, hey, they'll always be in your heart. Like, I'm not summing it up very well, but it's actually like, it was actually this moment where I was watching the movie like, wow, that's actually like good. It's well written. It's well acted. It's something actually good in this movie. It was really weird and really just threw me off. It's like, oh wow, this is actually not bad in this movie. It was very weird. So anyway, Wilford Brimley just adopts Sindel, I guess, and then they have to leave at the end of the movie because they repaired this other spaceship that I forgot to mention, because whatever. There's another spaceship now, and they stole the battery from the bad guy, so they can now leave. But anyway, I'm just gonna say it, guys. This is a fan theory here. Sindel is Captain Phasma. Hear me out. I know there was a whole book explaining Captain Phasma's backstory, but I don't care. Personal headcanon. Sindel, like, had to watch her whole family get slaughtered, alright, and, like, all this stuff on Endor, and then she goes off, and she's, like, right at the perfect age where she could be Captain Phasma, alright? I'm just saying, it makes sense, you know? And look at the actress who played Captain Phasma, and look at Sindel. Look at their hair. They're the same. It's the same person, alright? This is Captain Phasma origin story. Disney isn't brave enough to do it. They're not brave enough to make it happen. So anyway, what else happened? I'm missing so much. There was also a dude that runs fast. Like what? He can just go like, and like, that's not explained. He's just an alien who can run fast, I guess. Like, his name is like Teak or something. I don't remember. It was just, very weird. But what else? Just, I don't know, man. It's just very weird. Did I mention the blurg? I think I mentioned the blurg. Yeah, you know the blurg from The Mandalorian, right? That's in this movie. That's where they got it from. That's where they... It was first appeared as like a clay model in this movie. And then The Mandalorian, they were like, hey, we're going to put that in our show. You know, see if anyone catches it. So I get it now, and you get it now. So now you can be like, hey, you know the blurg from The Mandalorian? That was actually an EWOKS battle for Endor back in 1985. See? Star Wars fun facts on the IARESMART channel. So yeah. And then, yeah, that's it. That's it. That's it. That's the end of the movie. The guy that gets turned to stone and Sindel goes off to become Captain Phasma, I guess. It is an absolute wild movie. There's like a whole castle final battle, and then because they have to escape the castle to get the Ewoks back, because I don't know. And then they like run around and go back to the spaceship and then fight off all the bad guys there. It's weird, and the villain's scheme doesn't make any sense. Why he's kidnapping Ewoks to get a battery. It's just a whole mess of a movie. It's slightly better than the last one, because at least it's, you know, tolerable and you can watch it without gagging. But yeah, these movies are bad, and you shouldn't watch them. I know I just made it sound really funny, but I took the absolute bits that were kind of barely, you know, I could make a joke out of it, or, you know, like I could talk about it, but there is so much in these movies that is just boring and dull, and nothing happens, and there's nothing you can commentate about, there's nothing you can talk about in these movies, so do not watch them, please. For your own sake, don't just be like, I'm curious, I'm gonna watch them just don't. If you got absolutely nothing else to do, maybe you can watch them and get no enjoyment out of whatsoever and be like, well, I just wasted 3 hours. But don't watch these movies, alright? You know, people are complaining. I just did a review on the Book of Boba Fett, and people are like, and I was like, you know, kind of complaining about how all this problems I have with it. This is the worst. These are the worst Star Wars movies you've ever gotten. The holiday special too. We'll throw it in. These three movies are the worst things that Star Wars has ever done. You know, worse than the sequels. The sequels look like absolute cinematic masterpiece when you compare it to this. And yeah, so that's it. That's the end of the video. Don't watch these movies. They're bad. So yeah, that's all I had. This is the end of the video. Why are you left? You're still here? The video's gonna end in a couple seconds. Why are you still here? Go away. Bye.